What's up, everybody? I just finished a session for my Love Life Club members. While we were here and we had the flip chart and this cool setup, we wanted to make a video for you. So I wanted to do a video that got back to basics today by giving you 3 practical first messages you can send to get someone's attention on a dating app. So let's say you've just come across someone you find really attractive. You want to stand out amidst a sea of people. What do you send? Here are 3 specific messages. One of them shows your commonality with someone. One of them works because it creates a sense of challenge. And the last one works because it shows you to have a sense of humor. For each of these, I'm going to give you a very specific message you can send. Before I go into them, at the end of this video, I'm going to give you a key mindset for confidence that's going to give you the bravery to send these and make a move in the first place. So don't just leave once I've given you the 3 messages. Stay till the end and make sure you get that too. It's all about knowing what to do and then having the psychology and the mindset to actually do it. Also, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, which we would all really, really appreciate. Number 1, commonality. Here's what you send for this message. I don't know what it says about me that my favorite picture is number 3. Now, the reason that this is fun is because you can literally choose the picture of him that isn't him taking himself seriously. You know what it's like on dating apps. A lot of people put pictures of themselves that take themselves extraordinarily seriously. But then they might have a fun picture, a picture of them in fancy dress, a picture of them doing something quirky. If you can show that that picture was the one that got your attention, then it shows a sense of you're silly, but I'm also silly. Number 2, the challenge message. Here's what you say in this message. No idea if we'd get along, but your Jurassic Park t-shirt is a step in the right direction. And you could put a little wink emoji. Now, of course, the part of this message that is changeable is Jurassic Park t-shirt. That's obviously a very specific reference. Don't just go looking for people on dating apps that are wearing Jurassic Park t-shirts. You can put in there whatever you want. But what you say is, no idea if we'd get along. Now that's the challenge part, because what you're really saying is that even though there's something you've seen that you like about this person, you still don't know if you'd get along. That's to be seen. But you say no idea if we'd get along, but your Jurassic Park t-shirt is a step in the right direction. Wink. Number 3, the light humor message. Now let's say, again, to get specific as an example, but this is interchangeable depending on what you see in their profile. Let's say they have a picture of themselves in Italy. They're in front of the Trevi Fountain. Have I got that right? The Leaning Tower of Pisa. They're in front of one of those places. They're in Rome. They're in Florence. They're in Tuscany. There's somewhere that shows they're in Italy. You say, just looking at your profile makes me want pasta. That's fun. It shows you have a sense of humor. And it can change depending on what they're doing. So you could say, for example, thanks to you, I'm now looking at flights to Asia, because they showed lots of pictures of traveling Asia in their profile. Or you could even make this more playful by saying, how is it I'm already annoyed at you for making my travel FOMO worse? If they've got lots of travel pictures, of course. But you could do that about anything, right? But the idea of saying, how is it I'm already annoyed at you? There's something playful about that. There's something fun about that. Jameson, no doubt there'll be someone in the comments who says, you can't say that on a first message, that you're annoyed at someone. That's just really bad. And those people don't know how to flirt. All right, now I told you in this video I would also give you a key mindset that you need to make these 3 messages work, or in fact, in any situation where you find yourself out and about. It doesn't have to be on a dating app. You could find yourself in a coffee shop. You could find yourself at a club that you belong to, in a social event, and wanting to make a move. What's a key mindset that will help you make that move? I want you to imagine that 2 forces could drive you. One is intention. The other is ego. Now, if ego is driving you, you'll be so afraid to make a move that you just won't do it. Because ego does not want you to get rejected. And we sometimes think that we don't want to be rejected because we're insecure, because we just don't feel good enough, and so we're really afraid of being rejected. But ego can work the other way too. It can be that we've built up these walls in our life. We've built up this identity based on the things that we've achieved, the things that we do well, the friendships we have, the life we have. We've kind of built up a sense of importance, a security in, look what I've achieved, look at my status, look at my popularity, look, I'm a person who's great. And if your ego if you're focused on that identity you've created for yourself, then it actually makes you afraid to take risks, because any risk, anything that can create rejection, threatens that identity. And that's the last thing you want, because you've built up that identity to overcome your insecurity in the first place. You don't want to go back there. Ego can stop us from taking any risk that could threaten our identity, because our confidence is based on that identity. Now, what we can do instead is say, I'm going to be led by my intentions, not my ego. My ego is always going to try to protect my identity. But what's more important to me is that my entire life, all I've ever really wanted is to find real love. And real love is someone who sees me, like really gets me. Someone who accepts me for everything that they see. And someone who decides that they want me, having seen all of that. That is going to be the great love of my life. It's not going to be just some infatuation or some roller coaster of attraction. It's going to be someone, yes, I want to have the chemistry, I want to have the attraction, but ultimately the person that is right for me is going to be the person that sees me, accepts me, and wants me for all that they see. That intention is so pure and so beautiful, and that intention doesn't mind if someone rejects me. It doesn't mind if I go on a date with someone, if I send someone a message and they don't respond or they don't like me. It doesn't mind, because this intention is not about worrying about the person who doesn't see me, accept me, and love me. It's all about finding the person who does. So by definition, the person who rejects me isn't important to my intentions. The person who's most important to me is the person who actually wants me. The person who doesn't want me is really important to my ego. Not important at all to my purest intention of finding that extraordinary love. Now that you've got the mindset, now that you've got the messages, you may be wondering, what do you do after that? Well, I have a free training for you that's a video training to follow straight on from this one over at whattotextnext.com. It's completely free. It's more great content. If you like this video, you'll love that. It's just as specific and just as practical. Go over there now. whattotextnext.com. I will see you there. Thank you for watching. Watch until the end of this video, because I'm going to be giving you something that will change the way you flirt with men forever. Before we do that, let's talk about the 3 things that women often say to men that kill his attraction for her without women even knowing it most of the time. Now, full disclaimer, ladies, I know that I could fill an entire book with the unattractive things that men say to you, but that would be telling you what you already know. So, let's begin. Number 1, you ask him a question about a part of his life that's important to him, like, for example, his work. And he says, I don't know, I started an organization that empowers women in their love lives. And she says, "Aw, that's so cute." No man wants to hear that an area of his life that he takes seriously is cute. Number 2, you're so funny when you dance. Guys have a hard enough time doing anything elegant like dancing in a way that looks cool. So telling him he looks funny when he does it is just going to make him feel like he can't express himself around you in fun and spontaneous ways. All it's going to do is shut him down. And lastly, number 3. He says he hasn't seen or done something or doesn't know something that's slightly embarrassing not to know. For example, you're talking about movies and he says, I've never seen Pulp Fiction. Instead of going, oh really? Oh, you should watch it. It's so great. We should watch it sometime. You go, really? Are you joking? You've never seen Pulp Fiction. Instead of feeling cool and connected to you right now, he just feels like an idiot. The great irony of all of these examples is that they're sort of teasing a guy, but they're doing it the wrong way. Teasing is an incredibly powerful form of flirting. It might be one of the most powerful forms of flirting when done right. It's for that very reason that when I created How to Talk to Men, which some of you know is my highest selling program on attraction of all time, I dedicated an entire chapter to teasing as one of the great forms of flirting. My gift to you today is this chapter of the program. I want to make sure that you know how to tease a guy and know how to create that attraction. So even if you haven't got the entire How to Talk to Men program, I'm giving you the teasing chapter today for free. To download it, all you have to do is go to getthefreechapter.com. Let's link it up here, Jameson. Getthefreechapter.com, and you can be downloading that and reading it right now. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you on that page now. So it was my birthday this week. In a way, it's bittersweet because we think about the fact that it's our birthday and that's a really special day. But at the same time, we can't help but think about all the things we wish we'd have done by that point. One of the things that struck me about it this year in particular was that my birthday is kind of the halfway point of the year. So my birthday comes in halftime. Every sport in halftime, what happens? The coach comes down, takes them into the locker room and gives them a pep talk. Gives them some sort of talk about what's going to happen in the second half of the game. And it's different than the talk that people get in the first half of the game. Because when you're starting out a year, what happens is you think about what you want the result of that year to be and what you want to take on as new habits in that year. Why is this year going to be better than the last year? But halftime's different because when you get a pep talk in halftime, someone is talking to you based on what's already happened in the first half of the game. We know this, and this has happened. Now you need to do this as a result. I know I was a little frustrated at myself that some things that I wanted to get done, I didn't get done, or I didn't get there fast enough. There are certain projects I still haven't been able to start. Perhaps I was overly ambitious with a few things. We get to a certain point where we say, well, did I achieve half of the things I set out to achieve at the start of the year? And when the answer is no, and we feel like it's already June and I haven't done all these things, that's when we start to look at the second half of the year and write it off before we've even begun. But here's the thing. There are 6 months of this year left. At the end of this month, at the end of June, there are 6 months left. 184 days of your life to play with, to be productive, to be efficient, to go out and love and be loved, to have fun, to have adventure, to have excitement, to try new things, learn new things, develop new skills. This is all time that we have in the palm of our hand. And if we focus on the frustration we have from not achieving what we wanted to achieve the first half of the year, then we'll never achieve what we could achieve in the second half of the year. So here's what I did. I looked at 3 key things that are going to help me make the most of this year, and I can share those with you so that you can do the same. Firstly, when you're going into the second half of this year, big step, know your weaknesses. I wrote down the biggest weaknesses that I need to combat. Distraction, being prone to overwhelm, being out of touch with the people I love, not sticking to my daily habits, and not refocusing on important goals every day. All of the things that I've been able to achieve in my life have been because I've been very much aware of those weaknesses that I have, and I actively seek to combat them. When we don't get aware of our weaknesses, that's when stuff starts to go wrong because we don't see the pitfalls coming. Number 2, know what drives you. One of the biggest reasons for lack of motivation is not that we're lazy people. What happens is we lose connection with the reasons that we go after things in life. Everyone has had a day where they felt particularly motivated. And it wasn't that they were a different person that day, it's that their focus was in a different area. That day, they were thinking about something that really drove them in an extraordinary way and made them go out and achieve. Third and final thing, renew your goals. A lot of the time we get it right in our lives, but the need to keep creating new things means we go on to the next thing without ever doing the old thing. I heard someone say recently, and I feel bad that I can't quote them because I don't know who said it, it's better to go back to old resolutions than to keep creating new ones. What we do is we keep creating new goals because we want to be creative and feel like we're moving forward, but sometimes moving forward isn't creating new goals all the time. It's actually going back to a goal that we knew would make us happy, but we lost focus on that goal. So look, halfway through the year, we have 6 months left, and if we really go for it, we can make magic happen in those 6 months, and it can be the most incredible year of our lives. So that's it from me today. I hope you're excited. I'm very excited. Here's to the rest of the year, my friends. Take care. Jameson was scouring for a good comment recently that we could answer. He's got one. We have a great question for you today, except we don't know the name. He forgot to get the name. Bloody obvious, but Jameson forgot. Matt, what advice do you have regarding being comfortable with doing whatever you want to do and not letting others' opinions stop you? There's lots I'd like to do, like go on a meditation retreat, for example. But I guess I just don't because I think others, family, friends, would judge me or think I'm being pretentious or something. How do I get over that? That is a good question. There are times when we all care too much and we wish we didn't. We wish we could just get over that fear because those thoughts of others that make us feel insecure very often stop us from growing. They make us make the decision to stay comfortable instead of get outside our comfort zones. So what's the alternative? We can't not grow. We can't just stay where we are. We have to keep pushing forward. So I'm going to give you 3 practical tips today to manage your emotions when it comes to what other people think. Very excited about this because it's super practical. I want you to write them down and remember them the next time you have a situation where you care too much. First one is internal. I want you to get right with your identity. If you know who you are and what you're all about and how rounded you are, this thing that you're doing right now doesn't have to define you. In this example, it was a meditation retreat. Well, the fact that you go on a meditation retreat doesn't have to define you. Other people might look at you and say, why are you doing this woo-woo crap, like this hippy-dippy stuff? You're gonna go on a meditation retreat? That doesn't have to define you if there are plenty of other things you do in your life that have nothing to do with this. For me, if I go and do a ballroom dancing class today, I might have certain guy friends that would look at me and go, you're going to do ballroom dancing. I don't care. There are plenty of things that I do that have nothing to do with dancing, and I know who I am. So this one activity doesn't define me. It's just something that I'm interested in doing right now. The second thing is take the energy out of their argument. See, when people come at you and criticize you, they're coming from a place of emotion. That's energy. So they're going to attack you and they're going to say, what, you're going to go and do this meditation retreat? That's you. This spiritual crap. You're going to go and do that. They're going to come at you with energy. Now, rather than meet them with energy, and how do people normally meet you with energy? They defend. You start defending yourself with energy. All that does is amp up the temperature and give them more fuel. Instead, you want to take the energy out of it. So they say, what, you're going to go and do that spiritual thing? You go, no, I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Defend your curiosity, not the thing itself. Because people get into this habit of over-defending something. If you are interested in this meditation retreat, but you've never done it, but then you start saying, well, no, I think it's a great idea because science has shown that people actually improve their well-being and their productivity and their ability to be in the moment when they go and meditate. You don't have to do that. You haven't done it yet. You don't even know if you like it. So don't over-defend it. Instead, just defend the trait that is making you do it. Maybe your curiosity. If you were starting a new business and people started criticizing your business idea, you don't have to defend your idea to the death. You don't even know if it's a groundbreaking idea yet or if it's going to make you $1 million. You just defend the trait that's making you do it. In this case, it might be your ambition. Well, it's part of my ambition. I want to do this. I have to do something. I want to start. You want me to be happy, don't you? You want me to do something with my life. Well, right now I'm just directing my energy towards this. Who knows what's going to happen? The third tip is to align yourself with the attacker. I say attacker in the loose sense. This could be a family member, but someone who's criticizing you. So rather than butting heads with them, actually come and stand beside them and look out in the same direction and agree with them on a couple of points. Let's stick with the meditation retreat. They might say, you want to go and be with all those crunchy people, those meditation people for a week. And you go, you know what? I was a little worried about that too. I hope it's not too kind of head in the clouds stuff, because it may not resonate with me if it is. But I'm hoping I'm going to learn some cool stuff as well, even if it is like that. All the energy they had, it not only takes the energy out, but it uses it in your favor, because now you're starting to stand beside them and look out in the same direction. So align yourself with some, not all, but some of their arguments, because then they have nothing to argue with. What can they argue with? Someone who's just curious, someone who is into experiences, who wants to try something, even though they acknowledge that there could be drawbacks or things they don't like. How do you attack someone like that? That's a completely reasonable human being. So these things not only, internally will get you right with whatever you're doing, but at the same time will help diffuse any situations where people are on the attack, they are criticizing. It will help you manage your communication with those people better. That's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Go use these. If you don't write this stuff down in these videos, I want you to go back and write it down. Unless you write it down, you'll never remember it. It's very, very important. As cheesy as it is, a dull pencil is better than a sharp mind. I will see you soon. If you're not, by the way, if you watch these videos and you don't comment, I want you to start commenting. Like, leave us a comment. Let us know what you're doing. Let us know a situation recently when you cared too much what other people think. In fact, let's do that. What was a situation recently where you cared far too much about what other people think, and in the next time, you won't? Next time that situation comes up, you won't let that happen again. Leave us a comment. I'm excited. And by the way, don't just leave a comment here on YouTube. Come to the blog and leave us a comment. Underneath, you'll see a link. It's howtogettheguy.com/blog. Leave us a comment there as well. Come join the community. I'm excited about this. We put so much effort into this every week. I want you with us, not just watching, but interacting. We have this great community of people here, and I'm very proud of it, and I want to perpetuate that to make it even better. So thank you guys. I'll see you in the next video.
Don't be afraid to guide your partner to do what they're already doing in better ways.
What once made us strong can actually make us weak if we come to over-rely on it. Think of the best concert you've ever been to. It probably didn't end at 2 a.m. when you were getting tired. It ended on a high, and we want our dates to do the same.
I want to talk about embarrassment and sex in relationships. I don't think this topic is talked about enough. We read magazines that tell us how to spice up our relationships, how to spice up our sex life. They give us all sorts of weird and wonderful positions to try with our partner. They tell us how many times we should be having sex a day, and in what ways, and what kinky things we should be trying. But very rarely do these articles address the fundamental issue that most of us have gotten into a certain style with our partner, whereby they think they know everything about us, and we think we know everything about them. Now, what this leads to is a fear of embarrassment and rejection if we then try something new with our partner. And the longer we've been with our partner, the more this is true. I've coached people all over the world where I've given them ways to spice up their sex life, new things they can do. And what I've found is the biggest barrier to them spicing up their sex life is not that they don't have ideas. It's not that they don't have things they'd like to do. The biggest problem is that they're afraid of how their partner is going to react to them bringing out a different side of themselves. So we become very self-conscious. And I actually think I think it's terrifying that most people would feel more comfortable doing weird and crazy stuff with someone they barely know than with the person they love. I think it speaks volumes, because with the person we love and are comfortable with, that comfort is misleading, because we say, well, if I'm so comfortable with someone, I'm able to express my sexual desires with them. But actually, sometimes the reverse is true. If I'm really comfortable with someone, what it can imply is that we feel like we already know what the other person is about sexually. So if they now come to us with a different sexual energy or wanting to try a different thing that we never even knew they were into, it might surprise us. It might shock us. It might make us feel we know that person a little less than we thought we did. I'm going to assume right now that, like me and everyone else in the world, you are weird. You have your own weird stuff that you enjoy or that you might enjoy or that you want to try, and in your inner world isn't being fully expressed with your partner right now. And perhaps the same is true of them. So what I want to talk about is how to actually create the open dialogue about these things. So one early way to set the stage for this is to ask your partner if there's anything sexually that they want to do with you that you either don't do enough or at all. Tell them to be completely open, because it would be fun for you to know what else they want. See, part of our fear in listening to our partner in these ways is that we're worried we're going to hear something we don't want to hear. Perhaps there's something they've wanted and we've never done, or that we're not doing it in the right way or the way they want. It can feel like a form of criticism, but paying attention to what your partner says can literally save your relationship. Now, the next step is being honest about what you would like. So don't frame it as negative. Just frame it as and I mean negative in the sense that you don't want to frame it as criticism of what your partner is doing right now or not doing right now. You just want to talk about it as something exciting that you want to try with him. It helps to talk about why doing this thing would be sexy with them in particular. In other words, you don't necessarily want to frame it like, oh, I just want to try this. Frame it as, I really want to try this with you. It's being with you that makes me want to try this thing. That way they get to feel special in the process. Don't be afraid to be brave and take the lead by doing something different or kinky or slightly out there. What you do when you do this is give your partner permission to do the same without being self-conscious that he'll be judged for it. You giving him new ideas or taking the lead at times gives him permission to try new things and be more adventurous as well. Now, the key here is to understand that there is a teething process to any change in dynamic in a relationship. So your partner, you might try and do something with your partner and they may not have the ideal reaction. They may be surprised. They may look at you funny. They may say you've changed. Who are you? Who is this person? I don't know this person. Even though maybe that was you all along, but you just were afraid to express it. What they really mean is, I've never seen this side of you before, and it scares me because it makes me feel like there are things about you I don't know. You know, in another episode of Love Life, I talked about how, you know, your man could be on the phone on a business call, and you decide that this is a great time to go down on him, right? And as I was saying that, I was thinking, you know what? Some people might be afraid that they're going to get rejected in that moment, that their partner might freak out or might be like, oh, what are you doing? This isn't you. You wouldn't normally do something like this. And when our partner has a reaction to it, even if it's just surprise, sometimes it can feel like a rejection. Now, what we have to be careful of is not sulking if we get the wrong reaction. Don't go into sulk mode in that moment. But what you can do is later on come to them in a neutral place and say, look, I really want us to do more spontaneous things, or I really want us to try and explore each other's fantasies more and the little things that we want, because I feel like that's, you know, our relationship is so amazing and we're so turned on by each other already, and I want to explore all of your fantasies, and I want to tell you all of mine. Like you bring that out of me. You make me want to do these things. That's going to create this open dialogue between you. Consistently be talking. Don't be afraid to talk about sex. I really believe that nothing should be considered embarrassing between two people who love each other. The more you talk about sex and the more you explore each other's minds, the easier it gets. Use phrases like, I want to make your fantasies come true. What are the little and big things that you want to do more of? And it helps to ask the question in broad ways, like, what are the types of things you want us to do more of? Because if you ask someone, what's the specific thing you want to do, they may blank in that moment. Or you might immediately watch them censor themselves. Never underestimate how much we censor our own little weird fetishes and things that we want to do. Even when we think we're being honest with our partner, very often we're still censoring parts of us that we're afraid we'll be shamed for if we actually talk about them. So just ask him, what are some of the types of things that you really want to do more of in the bedroom? That's going to be so refreshing for him to hear that, and to hear that you're trying to explore his mind. Lastly, don't be afraid to guide your partner to do what they're already doing in better ways. I think the biggest tragedy is when we don't tell our partner how to do what they're doing better. And of course, there's a way to do that that's not going to hurt someone's feelings. But even then, I'd still, like, for me personally, if you tell me how to do something better now, maybe in the moment I'll be like, oh, that sucks. I didn't know I was doing it wrong, right? But you give me whatever damage you do to my ego in the moment, you feed my ego for a lifetime by telling me how to pleasure you more and me being able to see that reaction that I'm getting. So always, if you're trying to save someone's ego in the short term, remember you're probably damaging it in the long term by him not seeing how much he's pleasing you, or not having that wonderful satisfaction of knowing that he's pleasing you over the long term. Because we always know subconsciously when we're not pleasing our partner, we feel it. I'll finish on this note. I truly believe that sex is about teamwork. It's about two people who believe that their job in a relationship is to explore each other's needs and to cater to each other's desires, whatever, weird and wonderful desires they are. And, if those stray outside the concept of monogamy, we'll save that for another episode. But, within the confines of a monogamous relationship, I think everything should be on the table. I think people should explore each other and they shouldn't be afraid to talk about what they want or to go out of their way to please their partner. We would want the same done for us. So the importance of this episode, I believe, can't be overstated, because this will save relationships. We must never underestimate the number of relationships that fail because of unexpressed or uncatered for sexual needs and desires.
Well, Jameson and I were just filming a welcome video for all of the attendees of our virtual retreat, which is our big annual flagship event that's about life transformation, not people's love lives, people's entire lives. If, by the way, you don't know about it or you haven't got your ticket yet and you want me to coach you through immersion for 3 days in every part of your life, I'll leave a link here. Go check it out. But whilst we were recording those videos, we had an idea for a video that we could make that was tied into that, because that's where my head's at right now, is not dating advice, but bigger life advice. I truly believe that the concept I'm about to give you is one of the master keys to living an extraordinary life and having extraordinary impact in life, whether it's the impact of attraction, getting someone attracted to us, or whether it's the impact of making a difference in the world or building something. But let me take you through this. In life, there are things that early on we got good at, or things that we got rewarded for. For some of us, it's our ambition. For some of us, it's at an early age, we made more money than our peers. For some of us, it's that we made people laugh more than other people did. We were funnier than other people. Whatever it was that we got rewarded for early, that validation made us want to do that thing more. It became almost an addiction, and it might have even been a positive addiction. If you get addicted to achieving because people give you a lot of reward for it, then you can go on to achieve some very big things. The problem is that the areas of life where we get validation can easily become our mutations. I want you to write this down. This is going to be like a mini seminar right now in this video. It's not going to be like my typical blog video where I sit on a sofa and speak. So our validations can become our mutations. Our validations become our mutations, meaning when we get comfortable being rewarded for a certain thing in our life, we keep doing that thing. It doesn't mean doing that thing is easy. If you get validated for being a high achiever, it doesn't mean continuing to be a high achiever is easy. It just means we get real comfortable there, getting our validation. And these mutations then create distortions in our personality where all of a sudden our entire identity can be built around one thing. Now, what's the problem with that? When your identity is heavily rooted in one thing, that can now become our weakness. Christopher Hitchens said when talking about relationships, he said, the skill of relationships is not allowing your strengths to negate themselves. Meaning what once made us strong can actually make us weak if we come to over-rely on it. What happens to the person who spends all day in the gym and that's how they get their validation and then they get injured? If they don't develop identity in other areas, that can now be the death of their identity and therefore the death of their confidence, their happiness, and their sense of internal security. The solution to these mutations is to develop other areas, whether they're external parts of our life or they're other parts of our personality, so that we can create unique pairings. Now, let me explain what unique pairings are. Unique pairings are fascinating. A unique pairing is when you find two different things, two different personality traits or interests in the same person that you don't normally find in the same person. When we meet someone who's sexy, but they can also be goofy and silly, that's a unique pairing. When we meet someone who takes care of their body and presents themselves really well, they're well groomed and they look great, but they're also intellectual and they care about deeper pursuits, that's a unique pairing. When we meet someone who's a hard worker, but they can also go out there and play and have adventures and be spontaneous, that's a unique pairing. We see these unique pairings in all different people. And if you think about certain friends of yours or someone you're in love with or certain family members that you adore, I guarantee you'll be able to find unique pairings that make you really adore that person. One great quality can attract someone. It can get someone's attention. If you're super sexy, you can get someone's attention. If you're super successful, you can get someone's attention. If you're very funny, you can get someone's attention. But that's not what holds someone. One quality doesn't hold someone. What holds someone are unique pairings. Let's think of this on a meta level. Once upon a time, you watched me because I made a dating video, right? Maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or maybe last week. Maybe 5 minutes ago, you were watching me in a different video where you go, oh man, this guy's got great dating advice. And then you come to this video and you see this and you're like, holy shit. Now he's going to this beat. Now he could talk about this. Now you see unique pairing. That's what holds someone. I could only hold you for so long by giving you a flirting tip. But now you realize I could talk about this as well. All right, now I'm watching next week's video. When people see that we're constantly developing, constantly evolving, constantly developing more pairings, we become this irreplaceable force in their life. We become someone that I don't want to use the word addiction in this context, but we become someone that they say, man, I can't give this person up. I got to keep going on the journey. So it's these unique pairings that make us an unbelievable package to someone else, an irreplaceable package to somebody else. They are the key to people falling in love. They're also the keys to people maintaining the passion when they've been in love for a long time. But on an internal level, unique pairings also make us impervious to things going wrong in our lives. They are the ultimate defense to change, to not being able to do the same things you used to do, to parts of your life going wrong, being taken away. When you have unique pairings, you become invincible because you've always got legs under the table that can support you if one leg breaks. You know, all of a sudden you get injured and you can't work out. That was a source of your confidence. Doesn't matter because you have all these unique pairings. You're into this and that and the other, and this thing gives you purpose and this thing gives you confidence and this is a part of you you really value. All of a sudden you got legs under the table that can support you. Someone decides they don't want to be with you anymore in a relationship. You got all these other legs under the table that support you. You're not just one thing. You're not a one-trick pony in life. Your value isn't your relationship. And that's true of our personality too. You can have a part of your personality that, you know, maybe you came to rely on. You know, what happens to a lot of comedians, right? They feel like I gotta be funny all the time because that's where my value is. But all of a sudden, if your whole value doesn't come from one thing, if it comes from the books you've read, if it comes from the energy you bring to a room in a different way, if it comes from the kindness that you bring, if it comes from the work that you're doing with people, whatever it may be, all of a sudden you don't feel like you have to be funny at the dinner table, even if that's how you make a living. Because there are other legs under the table. This is guys, I'm telling you, this is the master key. One of them. I think there are only like 4 or 5 things in life. If you really boil it down, there's like 4 or 5 things in life that if you know those, life gets a lot easier, a lot better. You can create an extraordinary life on like 5 truths. This is one of them. This is one of the master keys to living an extraordinary life. And if you're watching this and you're like, man, I need to create more unique pairings for myself. I want to start living a bigger life. I want to start writing a different story for myself than the one that I've been writing all along, the one that's comfortable, the one that's become my mutation. Then we're going to be doing that on the virtual retreat together. I'm literally going to give you a blueprint for doing this. And we're going to spend 3 days of coaching immersion, working through everything in your life to create an amazing story. Because that's what we all want to do, isn't it? Ultimately, we all have different goals here. Everyone watching this video has something different they want, but they're all versions of the same thing. Because whether it's you're looking for a relationship right now, or more financial freedom, or a better body, or a change in your life because you're bored of what you're doing, or you're looking for more internal confidence or happiness, we're all looking for the same thing. We want a great story. We want to be able to tell a great story at the end of our lives of what that life meant, of what we did with it, of the impact we made. And we want to enjoy the story because when this story is not going to last forever, right? This story is tragically short, and we want to make the most of it while we have it. Every single one of us wants to make an impact when we're on a date. So here are 5 simple things that you can do to stay in his mind long after you've said goodnight. Number 1, give him an early compliment. I know so many guys, and I've been in this position before too, where you get to the end of a date and you don't even necessarily know if someone's actually attracted to you. And that's because you go on a date and 2 people are playing this poker game where neither one of them wants to reveal their hand. We want to break that nonsense. It's not like you have to start over-investing on a date, but we should show someone that we're attracted. So early on in the date, tell him you like his shirt or something you were attracted to in his profile picture when you saw him on the app. Give him something that shows that you are attracted, because that way it opens up the date to more possibilities. It makes everyone feel more comfortable. It makes it more likely he'll show his interest in you. And at the end of the date, he will not be questioning whether there's a spark. Number 2, be friendly to the people around you. When a guy on a date sees you being nice to people that you don't need to be nice to, it shows your true character. So whether it's being nice to the person serving you, or whether there's a woman next to you at the bar who has to shuffle over so that you two can sit down, and you say to her, "I love your jacket, by the way," or "You have great style," it shows him your warm nature. It also has the added bonus that when you interact with someone else for a few seconds, he gets to observe you without the pressure of interacting with you. And it's in the moment where we get to observe someone that we start to really build attraction, because we're not in our heads thinking of things to say. We just get to fully take them in. Number 3, don't be afraid of the date interlude. Now look, it's nice when a guy has a plan for a date and you don't necessarily want to disrupt the plans that he's got, but if you happen to be doing something where nearby is something you want to do, don't be afraid to say it. It can be playful. It can be fun. It can actually show confidence for you to state something that you're interested in doing. It could be a walk in the daytime where all of a sudden you realize that you're really near to a coffee shop you love and you say, "Okay, wait, we have to get coffee here. This place does amazing coffee." The great thing for him is that this is a pressure valve. Not only does he realize he's not solely responsible for creating a great time together, it also removes some of the guesswork of figuring out what you'd like to do. Number 4, order the chocolate cake. I always think of that moment at dinner where the dessert menu comes up and everyone's really polite and is like, "Do you want dessert? Should we get dessert?" I love when someone's just like, "We should share the chocolate cake, shouldn't we?" Because in that moment, you know what to do. So in whatever form it takes on your date, say yes to the metaphorical chocolate cake. It will give him permission to let go and have fun too.
Number 5, defer the nightcap. Now, I know the temptation when a date is going well is to drag it out as long as possible because you're enjoying being with that person. But that's not always productive. Think of the best concert you've ever been to. It probably didn't end at 2 a.m. when you were getting tired. It ended on a high, and we want our dates to do the same. So when someone says to you after you've already had a great time, hey, you want to get like one more drink over here? Don't be afraid to be like, you know what, it's 11 o'clock, it's getting a little late. I'm going to get to bed, but we should do something tomorrow or sometime this week. What I like about deferring the nightcap is it almost gives you a license to see the person sooner. I'd rather cut this date a little short on a first date and see them tomorrow than have a really long protracted date now and not see someone or feel like I'm not entitled to ask them to see them for 5 more days. So there it is, 5 things you can do to be memorable on a first date. I really want you to check out this next video. I believe it's going to help you a lot. Click here. The chase, the part where we were trying to get each other, was really exciting. And now we have each other. How do we continue that excitement now that we have each other?
What is gaslighting? Gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation in which a person or group covertly sows seeds of doubt in a target individual or group, making them question their own memory, perception, or judgment, often evoking in them cognitive dissonance and other changes, including low self-esteem. That sounds bad, doesn't it? Typically, we'd associate such a horrible thing with the behavior of a narcissist at the extreme end. And of course, what makes it so horrible is the intentional sowing seeds of doubt, the willing someone to think that they are crazy, that they've lost touch with reality. It's humbling, though, to think that we've probably all gaslighted someone on some level at some point in our lives. We've been in an argument with someone, and in the service of winning that argument, we have ignored whatever valid points they're making because our ego so desperately wants to win, wants to be right. And we see this at every level. This isn't just in personal romantic relationships or friendships or family dynamics. It happens in politics. You know, we see both sides ignoring what may be rational or reasonable about the other side's argument because of the fear of ceding any ground whatsoever to the opposition. God forbid I give up some of my power and get myself off balance in the process. I've done this before. Got so wrapped up in wanting to be right that even when I see that someone else has a point, I've dug my heels into my own logic further to contort the dialectic in my favor. And the result, of course, is that the truth becomes ever more hidden. We get this complete lack of nuance in the information that we're fed. It becomes caricatured on both sides, doesn't it? The truth, meanwhile, lurks deep in the sedimentary layer, far below the tempestuous ocean above, where the arguments take place on the surface level. It's a horrible thing to experience because we leave a conversation or an argument not knowing what reality is anymore. You know, it's like being caught by a wave in the ocean at just the wrong moment that has us somersaulting toward the seabed. And by the time we come to our senses, we don't know which way is up anymore. We know we need to swim, but we don't even know in what direction. If you've ever been gaslighted, then you know that experience of feeling like you're going mad, like you're losing touch with reality. Your trust and confidence in yourself and your own opinions gets eroded to the point of not even wanting to speak anymore. And perhaps one of the worst things about gaslighting is that when it's being done effectively, we don't know it's being done at all. Which brings us to today's question. How do you know if you're being... What is gaslighting? Gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation in which a person or group covertly sows seeds of doubt in a target individual or group, making them question their own memory, perception, or judgment, often evoking in them cognitive dissonance and other changes, including low self-esteem. That sounds bad, doesn't it? Typically, we'd associate such a horrible thing with the behavior of a narcissist at the extreme end. And of course, what makes it so horrible is the intentional sowing seeds of doubt, the willing someone to think that they are crazy, that they've lost touch with reality. It's humbling, though, to think that we've probably all gaslighted someone on some level at some point in our lives. We've been in an argument with someone, and in the service of winning that argument, we have ignored whatever valid points they're making because our ego so desperately wants to win, wants to be right. And we see this at every level. This isn't just in personal romantic relationships or friendships or family dynamics. It happens in politics. You know, we see both sides ignoring what may be rational or reasonable about the other side's argument because of the fear of ceding any ground whatsoever to the opposition. God forbid I give up some of my power and get myself off balance in the process. I've done this before. Got so wrapped up in wanting to be right that even when I see that someone else has a point, I've dug my heels into my own logic further to contort the dialectic in my favor. And the result, of course, is that the truth becomes ever more hidden. We get this complete lack of nuance in the information that we're fed. It becomes caricatured on both sides, doesn't it? The truth, meanwhile, lurks deep in the sedimentary layer, far below the tempestuous ocean above, where the arguments take place on the surface level. It's a horrible thing to experience because we leave a conversation or an argument not knowing what reality is anymore. You know, it's like being caught by a wave in the ocean at just the wrong moment that has us somersaulting toward the seabed. And by the time we come to our senses, we don't know which way is up anymore. We know we need to swim, but we don't even know in what direction. If you've ever been gaslighted, then you know that experience of feeling like you're going mad, like you're losing touch with reality. Your trust and confidence in yourself and your own opinions gets eroded to the point of not even wanting to speak anymore. And perhaps one of the worst things about gaslighting is that when it's being done effectively, we don't know it's being done at all. Which brings us to today's question. How do you know if you're being gaslighted, and what can you do about it? Number one, get some space from the conversation that's happening. Getting closer and closer to the conversation and chopping it up 1,000 different ways, which you've probably done, starts to get diminishing returns. You no longer get any more clarity, it just gets more confusing, and both of you just get more entrenched in your way of thinking. It doesn't mean going on a break from your partner, it just means getting enough space that you can quiet your mind, quiet it enough to know where I might be being unreasonable or where I might have reacted badly, and where I have a valid point that's not being acknowledged. Number two, have conversations with people you trust who have no agenda. This isn't about getting a tribunal together of all of your friends and inviting all of their emotional demons and biases to the table to have a voice on your relationship. That's dangerous. Instead, pick a couple of strategic conversations with people who are wise, people whose opinions you value, and who you can trust to be impartial. In other words, to not simply tell you what you want to hear. Ideally, people who know a bit about your history, your patterns, your tendencies, that helps, but it's not absolutely essential. What is essential is you feel like they're telling you the truth. Because although that may not result in things that you want to hear, what it will do is it will mean that when they tell you you have a point, your reasoning is valid, your grievances are valid, you'll believe them. Are you sick of texting? I am concerned. Don't get me wrong, I like texting, I do. I'm not one of those people who says, you know, death to texts. But I do think that we've lost the art of getting on the phone, and we've sort of culturally been regressed to the level of teenagers in our communication, where the idea of getting on the phone and just speaking suddenly seems like a big deal. So if you find yourself in an incessant texting conversation with a man and you want to start building some real connection with him by getting on the phone, even if it's not getting on a date yet, at least speaking on the phone, here are 3 ways you can do it. Number 1, issue him an order. Say to him, call me tonight, I want to hear your voice. You may think that seems a bit assertive, but it's assertive in a good way. You're not yelling at him, you're simply giving him a directive, which is kind of hot, by the way. Like a woman saying, like telling you to do something. I don't think I'm just speaking for me, Jameson. There's something sexy about that. Call me, right? Do you want to have a phone call tonight? That's not as sexy. Call me tonight. I want to hear your voice. It's also got a little compliment in it. You want to hear his voice. Number 2, call out the situation playfully. Here's what you say. Oh no, we're in danger of becoming pen pals. Let's FaceTime this week so we can catch up properly. When you put this negative label on texting all the time, like you're in danger of becoming pen pals, which is not said as a good thing, you're associating negatively with texting and positively with the idea of catching up properly, in this case on FaceTime. By the way, I think FaceTime's great because when you can actually see someone on a screen, it's the next best thing to a date, right? We see body language, we see facial expressions. It's real connection, upgraded even from a phone call. But if you're not going to do FaceTime, at least do the phone call. Number 3, call him first. Pick up the phone. You could be in a moment where you're on your way somewhere and you only have a few minutes, which by the way is a good time to do it. Because if you can get on the phone and say, hey, I got to go in a few minutes, but I just wanted to say hi. That takes the pressure off of him because he's like, okay, this isn't going to be a really long phone call if that's what he was worried about. Takes the pressure off of you because you've given this kind of time frame within which you can connect and catch up a little bit. And it just sort of liberates you to not overthink this phone call, but just pick up the phone and say hello. In doing this, you're giving him a license to do the same in the future. You're saying, I think a phone call is a completely reasonable way for us to talk. I think you should do it too. You're putting both of you at ease with that situation and showing it can be enjoyable. All this for a bloody phone call, Jameson. Now, I'm fully aware that we shouldn't have to think this much about how to pick up the phone and speak to someone. But here we are. There's a lot of people out there right now not speaking to each other on the phone, falling into the lazy trap of texting all the time. And you can sit there and complain about guys and the way they are and the way culture is, or you can create your own culture today using these 3 tips. Hello? Yeah, stupid me, it's upside down. Hello? No, I had a great time too. Hang on, give me a second. Conference call. Hello? Wow, this dating advice is getting me so much love. It's bananas. Look at all these guys. I'm an idiot.
Are you making a sexual joke with the bananas?
I wasn't.
So I was at a gas station the other day and I'm filling up my car. This guy walks in off the street. He walks over and he goes, can I borrow your phone? I missed my ride and I need a phone. I need to call someone to get home. It's one of those 50-50 situations where you think, is he a faster runner than me? Because if he's faster than me, I'm going to lose my phone forever right now. Then I thought, no, you know what? I'm really fast. So I give him my phone. Here's literally the conversation that happens in front of me. Hey, babe, it's me. I just wanted to say I feel really bad about our conversation earlier. I didn't mean those things I said, and I love you. And, you know, are we cool? Oh, and do you remember Toby from years back? He was just driving, and I see him driving down the street. Yeah, no, Toby. Yeah, I'm standing there at this point looking at him like, dude, I have to, and he goes, oh, baby, listen, I gotta go. There's this guy in front of me. This guy whose phone he's on. This guy's in front of me. I gotta go. Okay, all right, I love you. I love you. Okay, I love you. I love you. Okay, bye. He gives me back my phone and starts walking off into the distance. Didn't even ask for a ride. Just decided to make up with his girlfriend in the petrol station. So what do you do in that situation? I mean, I'm new to America, so maybe this thing happens more often than I think. Would you have given him your phone? Would you have had a crazy reaction to that? Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because today I want to converse with you about conversing. The reason I told you that story is because I want to talk about better ways of giving value in conversation than just going in and asking mundane questions about a person. That's a story that when I've been into conversations in the last couple of days has been a beautiful way of starting conversations. I could be at a party and there'd be a group of people there and someone say, Matt, meet this group of people. And I'd get there and I'd say, okay, you guys have to settle something for me. Is this normal? At the end of that story, I'd be able to get their opinions on it. How would you have reacted when he did that? And some people were angry. Some people say it's shock and awe. Some people think it's hysterical. When we go into conversation, too many people sit there waiting for someone else to be a good conversationalist. And the truth is the world is made up of really shitty conversationalists. I always like to make things practical. I like to break things up into simple steps. So think of it this way. When you walk into any situation where you want to start a conversation, rather than going into that view of, well, I need to ask them questions all the time. I need to talk about what I do, what they do. They need to know my name. I need to know their name. Forget all of that. Instead, think about three things. One, get out of your head. You don't want to be in here thinking about too much. What you want to do is express opinions and talk about stuff that's happening around you, which leads me on to the second part. Pay attention. Pay attention to what's happening around you. What clothes are people wearing? Is there a pattern in what people are doing? Does it feel quiet in the environment you're in? Is it intimidating? Is there something weird happening? And the third part is actually have an opinion about something that's going on around you. Opinions are a great way to evoke responses from someone else. And it also gets them out of their head. You could go into a juice bar and instead of doing the obvious small talk, say to the person, am I right in saying that everything here that is good for you tastes terrible? And of course, they're going to have a reaction to that. They're probably going to be like, no, this stuff tastes really good. And you could be like, I know it doesn't. You don't have to lie. And of course, when you call someone a liar playfully, you get more of a reaction. That's a much better way to start than going in and being like, hey, so what do you do? I work at a juice bar. So that's it from me today. Conversation. Get out of your head, pay attention, and have opinions. Opinions give other people the license to talk and allow them to get out of their own head as well. Because as I said, most of the world are terrible conversationalists. You have to give them a license to be great. I can't think of any more conversation.
Limbo, limbo, keep it simple, simple. Hi, we made a video last week, a music video. Correction, a musical video.
Limbo, limbo, keep it simple, simple.
We made a video about that extraordinarily common scenario where one person wants a relationship, but they are being kept by the other person in a state of limbo.
I just had this really early business thing. I'm really, really sorry. Bye.
This might have been the hardest video we've ever made. It took a bigger team, it took more investment, it took more creative energy. We had Jameson producing and overseeing the whole thing. We had our friend Ryan Turner direct this incredible shoot. We had Hope playing our high-value woman. We had the writer, actor, singer Jesse Pepe, who has the awesome music video YouTube channel, JP. Go subscribe to that. This team is the most talented team we have ever pulled together for one shoot. And we did it because we wanted to perfectly capture what I believe to be the modern day dating equivalent of an epidemic. Someone wants a serious, committed relationship, and yet they are entertaining somebody else who is continuously putting them in limbo.
Wow, my phone is blowing up. It must be my mom. Yup. Limbo, limbo, keep it simple, simple.
So now let's talk about how you can stop entertaining that guy in your life who's not giving you what you want and finally escape limbo. Number one, understand that the chances of him committing by you staying in limbo are close to zero.
It's literally the worst plan of action you can have because all it does is reward his behavior. It teaches him, consciously or unconsciously, that when he keeps you in this no man's land of not quite a relationship but not quite single, it will actually pay off for him. He can pick you up and drop you whenever he wants. He can have his cake and eat it. And now he doesn't ever learn that there are real consequences, real stakes to keeping you in this place because you're not going anywhere. Number 2, listen to your training, not his logic. And what is your training? Hopefully, the years you've been watching this channel. Your training is valuing investment over his logic. Some men will try to get around giving you genuine investment by providing you with logic. They'll convince you that you're crazy for wanting what you want, and they'll try to have it as easy as they can simply by persuading you with their words. The truth test is always how much is someone actually investing, and not investing simply with their words, because investment is about more than words. Not investing by buying you things, because that's too easy. Not even investing with the odd grand gesture that shows you how much he cares. Real investment needs to be measured on how much time and energy and thought someone puts into your relationship together. Number 3, do what Stacy did at the end of that musical when she had a ruthless and kind conversation with Jesse.
Jesse, okay, stop. I think we need to talk. Jesse, I really like you. We've got chemistry, it's true. But you won't invest in me, and I've got better things to do.
Think of those words that Stacy says to Jesse. They were picked very, very carefully for this song. Jesse, I really like you. We've got chemistry, it's true. But you won't invest in me, and I've got better things to do. Everything you need to have the conversation with a man who's keeping you in limbo is in that verse. Because you can tell someone, I really like you. That's a truth. We've got chemistry. That's a truth too. But you not investing in me and that meaning that I need to move on, that's also a truth. And when someone understands those two truths together, man, this person really likes me and has a connection with me, but they're also not sticking around. That's not enough. They're not going to be around here tomorrow if I don't step up my game. That is a point of action. That makes it a decision moment for them to have to do something about it or risk really losing you. And when they realize you're not bluffing, that you actually are moving on, just like Stacy did in the video, that's what makes someone feel real stakes to their actions. And when someone feels real stakes, it moves them to either do something or show you that they were never going to in the first place. Either is a form of massive progress for you. Now, if you're enjoying this advice and you know it's relevant to you right now because there's a guy you have that's pulling away or not giving you what you want, I have a free guide for you today that details the 5 reasons that men pull away and what you can do about it. You can click here for the guide. It's completely free and you can start getting the information right now. And for the love of God, escape limbo today because time is too precious. Your life is too important. It's time you start getting what you actually want. Download the free guide and I will see you on the inside. All right, guys, the new year is officially here. January 5th right now. I hope you're excited about 2014. I also hope you've had a good start. If you had a false start and you feel like the first 5 days of the year haven't really got off to that amazing level of change that you wanted, don't worry, let's begin today. New Year is a time when people expect a lot of change of themselves. It's also the time where we feel under pressure to change things and upgrade our life. Everyone around you is talking about New Year, New You. Every magazine is coming out with some variation on that headline. TV is talking about it. Everyone's got resolutions on the mind. But I believe that there are 3 big mistakes people make in the new year that very often are made worse by the advice they're given. The first big mistake that people make is they feel like they've got to take on a huge number of resolutions in order to justify themselves in the beginning of the year. They take on a level of change that's not sustainable. And then in doing so, they end up getting so overwhelmed that they can't do anything. They get paralyzed. So now they get to the 15th of January and they've already broken all of their resolutions because they were too ambitious in the first place. The key in the beginning of the year is the same as the key to change the rest of the year. Make a 1% shift. Our lives are changed more by the one routine we stick to than the 10 new ones we try and take on. So in the beginning, don't be pessimistic, but also don't be overambitious. Choose a change that you know you're going to stick to, because if you stick to it in 2 weeks' time, you're going to have more confidence, and more confidence is going to lead you to even greater change. The second big mistake that people make is in thinking that New Year should come around once a year. Now, I know that sounds a little crazy because, of course, New Year does come once a year, but we shouldn't have that psychology. It should be the case that we think of the New Year as happening on the first of every month. In other words, there are 12 times in the year when we reevaluate our lives, hit the reset button, and think about the changes we want to make. That should happen every 30 days. It's crazy to think about it that once a year I really reevaluate my life and hit the reset button. We should be doing it regularly. So think of this period right now as a 30-day period, and you're going to do this same exercise at the beginning of next month. And the third big mistake people make is thinking that when they fail one of their resolutions, that means absolute failure. See, I believe there's a way that dumb people fail and there's the way that smart people fail. When dumb people fail, they have a moment where they go back on their resolutions, where they mess something up and they go, well, I've failed now, might as well give up that resolution. When smart people fail, they decide that that failure was an anomaly, just a different moment where they departed for their resolutions, but it doesn't mean ultimate failure. In other words, if you decided to be sociable as a resolution, you know that you don't get out enough, and when you do go out, you don't talk to anyone new. If you go out and for the first hour of that night you mess up that resolution and you don't talk to anyone, that's fine. The smart way to deal with that failure is to say, I knew failure would be a part of this. Failure is normal. I knew I couldn't get through the entire year never departing from this resolution, but I know I can be sociable in the second hour of this night. The night is not lost. I'm going to get straight back on the horse. Fail like a smart person. Don't fail like a dumb person when you don't follow through on your resolution. That's it. 3 mistakes that people make. But that is not the end of this process, okay? I want to make sure that you make this year incredible. I also want to make sure that you get your love life in shape in January of this year. I know that you don't want it to take 12 months. You want results right now. I've put together something that I've told you about in the last video that I really want you to go through and do. If you haven't got my 2014 Guide to Love, go download it now. It's at shortcutstolove.com, and in the guide I outline the 6 shortcuts to love in 2014, 6 ways you're going to kick it into shape. I told you before, think of it like your adrenaline shot for your love life. So go check out that guide. It's at shortcutstolove.com. Download it, let me know how you get on, and I will see you in the next video. Oh, hi. I was just texting. Let's talk about texting for a moment. Some people say, well, I'm not the type of person that texts. I just don't like texting. Well, if that's the case, then you're the weird one, because everybody is texting. It needs to be got over. Texting is one of those things that can be an evil both ways. If you never text, and you're the person that only wants to be on the phone, then you miss vital opportunities to flirt and connect and have fun. For example, you might send a text that says, you looked cute today, that you wouldn't want to make a phone call for. You wouldn't want to call someone up and go, you looked cute today. All right, bye. Weird. But with texting, you can send that text. It's easy. On the other extreme, of course, you have the person that texts 20 times a day and never calls. That person is an idiot. Have you ever been on a date, for example, and found that having texted and texted and texted and thought you got close, you suddenly realize it's really awkward because you've never actually had a proper conversation with that person? Such are the dangers of texting. There are 3 things that I want to give you today. The first one, give value in your text messages. When you say, hey, what are you up to? Hey, it both shows that you're bored and boring at the same time. When you say, hey, what are you up to? It's the equivalent of you saying, please entertain me, because I couldn't be bothered to think of anything interesting to send you. You entertain me. So what are some interesting things you can do by text? Well, one of them is sending a picture message. Pictures are great because you send a picture that reminds you of someone or in some way triggers a joke that you've both had or a memory. You send it to them with a little caption saying why you think it's relevant. I got a text message recently in the last couple of days that was a picture of a house, and outside there was a sign that said Hussey House on the postbox, which was funny. It could either mean a cute little cottage or a whorehouse. Number 2. What was number 2, Jameson? Number 2, eliminate some of the question marks in your text messages. I would much prefer to send someone a message saying, hey, I'm doing this thing this weekend, you should come, than saying, hey, what are you up to this weekend? Do you want to come and join us when we do blah, blah, blah? One of them shows uncertainty, one of them shows complete certainty. And just, it's going to be fun. Why would you even ask if they want to come? Just tell them to come. You don't need to add the question mark and give them something to reject. Just be assumptive. The certainty that comes with it communicates a much deeper level of confidence that you want someone to see in you. And number 3, use text as a way to assert your standards and to communicate your standards. I was on radio recently telling the story of someone I used to see in London. We would see casually each other. I was traveling. I wasn't living in London, okay? So stop judging. I was there now and again, traveling. And I'd be like, hey, you want to get together? And I'd be like, I have an hour between these 2 meetings. Let's see each other. She said, I'm not really a 1 hour time slot kind of a girl. This was upon receiving a text message from me. She sent this. I'm not really a 1 hour time slot kind of a girl, but if you want to take me on a date this week, that'd be lovely. She put a winky face at the end. Changes everything. It wasn't like, I'm not really a 1 hour time slot kind of a girl, so if you want to take me on a date this weekend, that'd be lovely. It was a little wink, a little cheeky. It was fine. It was playful. The tone was right, but the standard was there. That's a great text. Immediately, I saw her differently and the dynamic changed. So those are 3 things you can do. Add value, eliminate your questions, and show your standard through text messages. By the way, I have something a little special for you. A mini texting crash course that's complimentary. I'm going to give it to you. I don't even want to charge for it. I just want to give it to you. These are literally 9 texts that you can copy and paste from the document into your phone. If there's a guy that you're a friend of right now, but you want more with him, you can send him these texts. If there's someone that you're a lover of right now, you're casual, but you want more, you want a bit more commitment, you can send these texts. They will revive a situation that's gone cold if something has lost its edge or its passion. I hope you enjoy them. I enjoyed writing them. And underneath each text, I explain why each one works and what the psychology is behind it. So here's how you get this guide. Go to 9texts.com and it will be there waiting. 9texts.com. I'll link it up under the video as well so you can click through and go straight through and start using those texts literally in the next few minutes. Pull up a guy from your phone book right now and send him one of the 9 texts. That's what needs to happen straight after this video. Go. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 specific text messages that get the guy you want to pursue you. I've been helping women attract the men they want for nearly 10 years now. And there is a question that has always come up, but it's getting worse. Women saying, why don't men try anymore? They don't take me on real dates, they don't seem to actually court me, they don't go through the stages of attraction where they really invest. It's like they want a fast food dating diet. They want to just text me and for me to come over. We want men to try again. Well, I have a fundamental belief that the women today who get the best men, and not just the best men, but the best behavior from those men, have 2 things on their side. 1, they have standards that are higher than everybody else. People think that if you have standards, you're going to scare people off. It's the opposite. Standards make you attractive. But they don't just have standards. They have the ability to communicate those standards to a man in an attractive way. That's the real skill. Having standards is confidence. Knowing how to communicate them is competence. The food industry has a term called the bliss point. The bliss point is the optimal level of salty and sweet in a food that keeps you wanting more of it. And they're trying to achieve this all the time. So think Nutella, think peanut butter, kettle corn. What's the bliss point? That means even though you're getting full, you're not satiated. You keep wanting more of that food. Well, I believe that there is a bliss point to communication, an optimal level of salty and sweet that keeps you wanting more of a person. So if you achieve the bliss point in your communication with men, a man can become addicted to you. He won't be able to put you down. I'm about to give you 3 scenarios that I know you've found yourself in before, and the bliss point response to each one. The first scenario is the date deliberator text. This is the guy who's indecisive about what you guys are going to do on a date tonight. So he sends something like, so what are we doing tonight? To which your internal response is,
You decide, man. It's your job to figure out a plan. Just frickin' pick something. But you don't want to come across aggressive in this moment because he hasn't done anything really wrong. So instead, here's the bliss point response. As much as I love planning, I think it would be more fun if you decide. Winky face. You see what you're doing there? You're simultaneously saying, I don't expect you to plan things forever, but right now, at this early stage, it would be fun if you took the initiative. Scenario 2, the homebody text. He sends, there's a cool bar in my part of town for tonight. Now you know that the last time you went on a date, you came to his part of town. So somewhere inside you feel like he should be the one making the effort to come to you or at least meet halfway. Now once again, he hasn't done anything drastically wrong, but you'd like to use this moment to educate him on trying a little harder. So instead of bottling up your feelings and going to his part of town anyway, or getting overly serious about communicating this to him, you put together this bliss point message. Geez, are you always this lazy? It's your turn to come to me. Kissy face. What this shows is that you can call someone out directly for their behavior, but you can do it in a playful and affectionate way. Which brings us to scenario number 3, the day of disappearance. This is when you have plans with a guy to see him for a date, but on the day of the date, it's getting past the point where it's acceptable for him to have not given you the details yet. So maybe it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you said you'd see each other tonight, and he still hasn't sent you anything. And maybe it's not because he's a bad guy, maybe it's because he's been super busy, or maybe he's out right now, but it's still not really okay. So you can either be passive and just wait until he texts you, or you can construct this bliss point message. Hey you, should I assume we're not on for tonight? I haven't heard from you and I have other things I'd like to do if not. Once again, the beauty of this is that it addresses him in a kind way at the same time as being really high standards with your time. You're showing him that if he doesn't up his communication, you're going to find something else to do. Now, why do people hesitate? Paste bliss point text messages that you can send to the guy you want to get more attraction and more investment starting now. Just go to 9text.com, download your free guide, and I will see you there.